This video is going to show you how to use graphs to solve linear inequalities. So this first inequality is negative 2/3 x minus 5 is greater than negative 3, and we want to solve that with a graph. Hopefully you've already learned how to solve it by hand, and we'll review that in a little bit, but right now I'm just trying to emphasize how to solve it with a graph. So if you remember from how to solve equations with a graph, what we did was we took each side of the equation and we created a different graph from each side. I basically split it into two separate graphs. So one is going to be negative 2/3 x minus 5. That's a line with a y-intercept of negative 5. That's down here, and a slope of negative 2/3. So I get a point here, and then if I go the other direction, up 2 and to the left 3, I get a point here. So I'm going to draw that line in. And then my other equation is y equals negative 3. That's a horizontal line here down at a y value of negative 3. So when we were solving equations, we learned that if we wanted to know where negative 2/3 x minus 5 equaled negative 3, we looked at the point of intersection, and the solution was just the x-coordinate of the point of intersection. Well, that's going to play a key part here, but let me sort of put in a dashed line where that intersection happens. We know that this intersection happens at an x value of negative 3. So what that's saying is that if x equals negative 3, both of these values are exactly the same. Negative 2/3 x minus 5 is exactly the same as negative 3, which means that at every other x value, at say an x value of negative 2 or an x value of negative 1 or negative 4, at all of these other x values, the left side doesn't equal the right side. And you can see that they don't equal because they're two separate graphs. So what do you look for on the graph to solve the inequality? Well, you have to know that when this says greater than, right here, what I'm looking for is where is the first y value, the negative 2/3 x minus 5, where is that greater than? On a graph, y values that are greater than are above other y values. So when I look at my graph, this negative 2/3 x minus 5, that's this blue line, and the negative 3 is the red line. So what I want to know is where is the blue line above the red line? And specifically, on which side of that dotted line that I drew at x equals negative 3? Well, I think, we choose a different color here, I think that the blue line is above the red line on this side over here. And what x values are those? Well, these are all x values that are less than negative 3. So my solution to this inequality, negative 2/3 x minus 5 is greater than negative 3, my solution is x is less than negative 3, because the blue line is above the red line to the left of x equals negative 3. Now if you solve that by hand using the techniques that you already learned, you would add 5 to both sides and get negative 2/3 x is greater than 2. And then you would multiply by the reciprocal, which is negative 3/2. But you need to remember that when you multiply by a negative, this thing flips. So you would end up with x is less than 2 times negative 3/2 is negative 3. So that's the same solution. Okay, let's try another one with a graph. Solve 1/2 x plus 1 is less than or equal to 5/6 x minus 1. Then check it by hand. So again, I'm going to create two graphs, and I'm going to do the blue and red thing again. So I'm going to make y1 the equation on the left and y2 the equation on the right. And when I create those, y1 is 1/2 x plus 1. That's got a y-intercept of 1 and a slope of 1/2. Okay, now if I graph 5, 6x minus 1, I get a y-intercept of -1 and a slope of 5/6. 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That contains that point there. Okay, once I have the two graphs, you want to remember that where they cross is where those y values are equal. So if this was just an equal sign, all I would have to do is read off this x value right here, which I believe happens at 6. But since it's an inequality, I have to choose either the right-hand side of 6 or the left-hand side of 6, because I don't want to know where these things are necessarily equal. That's just one part of it. I want to know where they're not equal in the less than direction. So when you look at the graph, when you see less than or equal to in terms of y values, you want to translate less than into below. So what I'm looking for is where is the blue line below the red line? On which side of this vertical line that I've drawn at x equals 6? Well, if I look at where the blue line is below the red line, I think that's right here on this side. So that means I'm going to choose x values over on this side of x equals 6. So my solution is x is greater than or equal to. The reason I chose equal to is that my original equation, or my original inequality, had an equal to. X is greater than or equal to 6. Now if I wanted to check this by hand, I'd have to be good at clearing my fractions. 1/2 x plus 1. The original had less than or equal to 5/6 x minus 1. If I solve that by hand, I need to clear my fractions by multiplying by 6. Because that's a positive number, nothing's going to happen to the inequality. This is going to give me 3x plus 6 is less than or equal to 5x minus 6. Distributing. If I bring my x's to the left side and I subtract 5x and then I subtract 6, I get -2x is less than or equal to -12. And then I'm going to divide by -2. And when I divide by -2, because I'm dividing by a negative, this flips. And I get x is greater than or equal to +6. Notice that that x that's greater than or equal to +6 right there matches what I had on the graph over here. Either way, whether you use a graph or by hand, you get x is greater than or equal to 6.